about to get it in today. I took a little break yesterday. Just had a lot going on, and then my knee's been like sort of bugging me a little bit, my left knee. So it's always good when you have a borderline injury to just kind of give it a little bit of a rest. So I just did some stretches. You know how I do it. You know the routine. I'm about to just go out here and try to do a quick 40-minute. Hopefully I can do a fast pace. I'm gonna fill out my knee to see how it's feeling today. I walked on it aching a little bit for like 2 days, so that's what made me say, take a little break, let it rest for a second, just whatever that is. It didn't feel like anything major, just maybe something a little naggy that ibuprofen can help with, a little bit of inflammation. Hey, it happens, you know, walking on the hard terrain, heavy joints, changes, whatever. No pain, no gain, right? So let's get this walk in. I hope you guys are getting it in. I'm about to get me some vitamin D. I missed it yesterday. I actually am becoming addicted to getting this morning walk in. And I think this is the last week I'll just be doing the morning walk. It's time for me to re-implement my evening workout as well. So I'll start showing you that. You know, I really want to work on some composition. I say it like 1,000 times. Like, I am proud of the weight that I have lost so far. Losing the 70 pounds feels great. And so now I'm happy where I am. I'm rejoicing in it, but it's time for me to hit my next milestone, you know, have goals. I never just set a goal, reach it, and then, yay, I'm done with life. Like, no, the next thing, I'm driven, so let's get it in. I want to get solid. Urgh. It's time to get it going. You know how we do it. You know the routine. Let's get that walk on around the Pics, my favorite little spot. I didn't put sunscreen on, and it's hot out here, but it's okay. I miss melanin. Melanin is me, and I am melanin. There's a little bit of a breeze, so hopefully I'll catch a lot of shade along the way here. But yeah, I'm getting it in. I'm gonna go a little bit easy for this first round and just make sure all the joints, ligaments, and everything feels good. And then, yeah, I'm gonna try to pick up the pace. I set my walker. So hopefully I could do a 40-minute, a 2-miler. And I want to get my music going too. Get some Jay-Z on here. Pump this shit up. Ooh, I like this breeze. Yes. Yeah. Muddy. I feel a little bit of an ache, but not as much. I'm still gonna take it easy for this first round and then see how I feel with turning up the pace a little bit. I got the old school, the 2000s workout playlist from Spotify going. Shingy. Bish. I haven't heard this in forever. I like it. Do I want to walk through this mud again? It's time for me to get some new shoes, you guys. It's time to make a trip to the feet fleet and get reevaluated. These ones are still feel decent, but I just feel like I probably need some more shock absorbance. The fact that my knee is bugging me is making me think of an adjustment that I can do. I feel like it's time to step up my shoe game and replace these. I think when you're hard working out 6 months when you're doing less, maybe a year, but I've had these for 2 years, I would say, maybe even more. But I was doing a lot of indoor stuff in just during the pandemic. I guess I did some outdoor walking, but I've definitely been doing them in these last couple of weeks, doing all this walking around the Plex. I feel nervous about how, to maintain my consistency when it starts to get colder and not as feasible to get out here and walk like this. But yeah, I adjusted to the pandemic, I adjust to the weather, the season. I adjust. I'm a military kid. That's what we do. We adjust. I won't say blend in, but we adapt for sure. Like I'll almost go anywhere and talk to anybody. Same with my bro too. The bro right above me, he's kind of sociable and gets out there, shouts out, jams legs. Okay, I'm at 21 minutes, 22 seconds, 2,261 steps. Not quite a mile yet, like I'm moving slow. I'm usually at the 20-minute mile mark, but that's okay. I felt a slight little achy ache in the knee, so I'm just gonna take it easy. I think if I can just extend the time and keep the pace, I'll be all right. Yeah, we have to remember to listen to our bodies, people. Like, we want to reach our goals, we want to aim high, but you want to monitor your health and well-being. Just like when I'm fasting, I know I'm in perimenopause, my hormones are just constantly changing. It's just a new phase that I haven't quite adapted to. It's a little bit frustrating because things in my body aren't functioning all the time the way clockwork, like I remember it. I'm used to the routine and the consistency, so you just make adjustments as you go along. It's what we do. And I'm doing all this walking, but I just want to note that I wasn't no gym rat, throughout this 70-pound weight loss. Like I said, the first thing I did was went hard and got acclimated to supplementing. Like my body was deficient of things. There's just no way that you're absorbing all of the nutrients that your body needs in a day from the food you eat. Hell, you're not even eating the right foods to get the nutrients, So I feel like no matter what eating regimen, lifestyle, diet you're on, there's gaps. Yeah, so the nutritional gaps, yeah. And I wasn't a gym rat, Like I said, I got on the nutrition. That was sort of my first obstacle. I was having a lot of quorums with taking all these vitamins. My bestie has no mercy. She loves me enough to challenge me and call me a punk. Hey! So she was just like, just swallow the damn vitamins, you know what I mean? Like, shit. You got a whole life-changing supplement here. She was a fan. And I feel like I dabbled in and out of the Avocare products for maybe like almost 2 years because I was still living in Cali. She was in Texas. And so it was her attempt to get me going. Like, it was the best thing, to be honest. Not saying Avocare is this, ultimate thing. I think whatever works, it worked for her. And she had the results. So who could sit there and argue and like question her? Like, she applied it, did it, and she looks like this. Like, fabulous. Although she looked fabulous way before she lost even 1 pound. But that's a whole nother story. My Hawaiian bestie, I love her. So anyway, yeah, the supplements, I wasn't a super gym rat because she would say constantly, you cannot out-train a bad diet. So people might say, is this walking enough to help you lose weight? Yes. You lose weight in the kitchen and you build your body in the gym. Dayna drove that fact for sure. So when I first moved to Texas, I trained with her because I was living not too far, and I went to her studio. I had a lot of stuff though going on with my body like my back issues, those were hard to deal with. So there was a lot of stuff that I felt like I couldn't do. I was nervous. She pushed, you know, to find out what my limits were. So I appreciate that. But, you know, just getting older is a bitch. And you have to adjust to your body. So I started getting more chill exercises. I went ahead, I had a row machine. And it wasn't as comfortable. Like then I didn't know that I had a compressed disc in my back. I was just like, my back's always hurting. All that sitting at the desk, it's just bad. You have to get up and move around. Those hips get immobilized and you're just domino effect. Back, hips, butt, thighs, like they all, when they're tight, that lower back is just strained. So along with having all the extra weight, especially the stomach, like you can see my before picture, I had a huge gut. Just unhealthy. That's all diet. So after the supplements, the next thing I did, all the supplements, but I started implementing the workout. You know, still lazy, like some days on, some days off, but consistency breeds results was the next motto that Dayna drove. So I found out what was consistent for me, or easy for me to be consistent with. And she was a fan of, don't duplicate or replicate her. She's her. This is her body. This is how her body responded. Take the information that she's given you and apply it to yourself and finagle it so that it works for you. So that was what I did for the first year, just trying to figure out. I didn't have a huge loss of weight that first year, but it was my mind. Weight loss is a mental game, not a physical game. So it was training, getting my mind right. And then, you know, the next year, I started to step it up. My hours changed at work, so I was unable to go to her classes. So I got my little home gym stuff. You know, I work from home. I was like, I need to figure out how to do this shit at home. So she wrote me up a couple circuits that I could do. And I sort of did it in and out. But in the end, I had to master this diet thing. So once I figured out, like, okay, I need to cut somewhere, like whatever I'm eating, I started monitoring my foods. She was doing meal prepping, so I would buy into her meal prep and I would go over there too and see, like, oh my God, like she always is a bomb ass cook. And then, so the food's healthy and good, like, yes, you know, your eating regimen doesn't have to suck. It should be very tasty and desirable so that you can sustain it. That's the whole thing, to build the consistency. So yeah, that was the next thing. And so then I realized that I could implement a little bit more. I was definitely hard on my supplements. I was getting more consistent with my workout. And I started cracking down on my diet and meal prepping myself at home, picking all the kinds of salads that I like, the meats, the dressings, and just cutting back. And I saw weight coming off, you know, at a pretty fast pace. You know, when you first make the change, your body sheds pretty quickly and then it starts to slow up. So then I started saying, okay, I'm going to cut back on some of the carbohydrates that I'm consuming. And not just carbohydrates, but the bad carbohydrates. Like I immediately stopped buying things in packages. Like if you go to my house or my pantry, you don't see canned goods, prepackaged stuff. I have some things that I purchase and keep in the pantry for the cases of emergency, but for the most part, I consume fresh food. You know, I shop weekly. I really don't like to have to freeze meat, you know, freeze stuff, but I keep some stuff in the freezer because sometimes you need quick stuff. So I started working on the low carb a little bit, and that was working for me. Then I got hipped on, okay, ketogenic, and I started checking it out, reading up on it. I'm a nerd, so I definitely started reading up on the ketogenic lifestyle, and I was like, oh, I like it because one, I like butter and like fats and stuff, and I can do without rice. That's not my favorite, things like that. So I felt like it was right along line with how I like to eat. So I'm at 32 minutes. So I started eating ketogenic and weight was piling off quick, man. I don't know the exact numbers. I have to go back and really like pay attention to what those numbers were. But once I got on that, started meal prepping and doing all that stuff with my supplements and my working out. I still wasn't working out like crazy or being a gym rat. I just was maintaining, doing some cardio on my stationary bike, row machine. I have some free weights, just small kind stuff to get my body moving. But I wasn't doing it every day too. Like, I was probably doing like 1 or 2 days a week. So I was like, I need to try to do at least a little over half the week. So my goal was 4 days a week do the working out. So that was going well. And it was slowing down just a little bit. So then I learned about intermittent fasting. Yes. I think it's intermittent fasting. I just like to shorten it. Too much hanging out with the Hawaiians. Everything's shortened and easy to say. Easy for say. So yeah, I just moved myself into 16-hour fasting window, 8-hour eating window. I didn't have a huge knowledge of how to implement that, but I just got myself acclimated to not constantly eating. I never really was a breakfast person anyway, so it's easy to kind of like hold out after I got up for a couple hours and then start my eating window. So that worked. And I did that for the 16-8. I did that all the way until the beginning of this year. The beginning of this year, I spent more time. I listened to a lot of Audible books. I started reading in more deeply to this intermittent fasting, and realized like it's the way humans ate our whole existence. It wasn't until we started cultivating food and sitting still and, that we had food just at our disposal. But if you think about it, they wouldn't eat every day, or definitely not 3 times a day. And they would still have energy to get up and hunt, go gather food. And they were healthy people. They didn't have all these diseases and crazy stuff that we have today. So this year I said I was going to rev up because I feel like I plateaued. So that's been my main thing. It's okay, now I'm at the 70-pound mark. My initial goal was 100, but I immediately stopped saying I want to lose 100 pounds and just said, I want to lose 1 pound, and focused on that. And so over the 3 years from 2018, September 2018 to 2020, end of the year 2020, 18, 19, 20, 2021, I lost 70 pounds. And so when you work out the average, 70 pounds, 36 months, that's 1.94 pounds a month. Like, really? That's nothing. When you think about it, when you focus on the big number, it feels like an unachievable goal. But I only need to lose 2 pounds in a month to have success. Like, I didn't gain 100 pounds in 3 months. So I never was like, I want to lose 100 pounds in 90 days or 6 months. Like, it just wasn't realistic. And the weight came off gradually, so it was an adjustment. So even when I'd fall off the wagon, I felt like it didn't affect me at all. I would just get back up, get going, and keep on trimming down. So yeah, I started off tipping the scale at 297 pounds. I'm pretty sure I probably was at 300 somewhere and just wasn't weighing because I just avoided the scale. But I loved myself for sure. I always thought I was pretty. When I look at my old pictures of like then and now and see how puffy I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize that. But I remember that I still loved me. I felt beautiful. I feel like people loved me. I was happy. So it never was that I didn't like myself. I just wanted to get healthier, having backaches, not feeling well, getting older, or just being smart and be influenced with good elements. So yeah. 46 minutes, 13 seconds, 2.4 miles, 5,072 steps. Bish! I exceeded my 40-minute goal. That's what's up, you guys.